Hey there, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are talking about the 3 things that you should know before becoming a hairstylist. I'm Liz. I help hairstylists grow their business using social media and internet marketing strategies. So let's get right into it. The number one thing that you should be aware of before becoming a hairstylist is that you need to love doing hair. Now, I know that might sound obvious, like, of course, why else would I be a hairstylist if I didn't love doing hair? But the thing is that hair, a lot of times, for a lot of people, is a passion. It's an art. It's a hobby, and it's something that we love to do. And the last thing that you want to do is turn your passion into drudgery. What do I mean by that? Well, when you turn your passion into actual work where you're depending on income from getting those clients, from working those hours, from creating an actual business, it can be really difficult and there can be ups and downs, and it might kind of turn into a job sometimes. So the last thing you want to do is burn out on something that you really love to do. But if you're aware of this in the beginning and you can make money doing what you love, yes, absolutely, it's a great idea. But be prepared, do your research, get to know the ins and outs of what it takes to actually have a hair styling business. Now, a lot of times it doesn't have to start as a business. You can start as an assistant, move into being a commission stylist, working for another salon, getting your paycheck, getting paid, and not having to supply your own color, tools, supplies. You can gradually move in to the side of things where it's actually you running a business and being responsible for all of those things. But it's important to do the research first. So a good thing to do would be to talk to a hairstylist that you know, or decide on who you might want to get to know in your town, in your neighborhood. Talk to salon owners, talk to hairstylists, talk to people just starting, talk to people who have been in the hair industry for more than a few years. You will get a lot of opinions, you will get a lot of information, and by doing this, you can really make an informed decision on whether hairstyling is for you or not. Because trust me, I have known a lot of people, even women that I went to school with in cosmetology school, who didn't end up continuing and pursuing hairdressing as a career because they found out a little too late that it was either too difficult to bring in their own clients. Maybe they didn't love working on Saturdays and weekends. If you get to love weddings and events like this, which are usually planned for weekends, then you could be doing a lot of work on weekends, evenings, times that maybe another person with a 9-to-5 job may not have to worry about those kinds of things. So you can really be prepared for what it's really like, how hard it really is, being on your feet all day, having to keep track of your books, of your supplies, and not only, doing the skills that are required being a hairstylist, such as getting ongoing continuing education, leveling up your skills in hair cutting and hair color, and also being around a lot of different personalities every day. So you have the people that you work with, so that can be a lot of personalities to deal with, and then you also have your clients who you might see 2 to 10 different people a day. So keeping your energy up from the morning until the night can be kind of its own stress situation in itself. So there's a lot of things to consider. But number 2, going on from the client situation, is number 2, you must love people, because you're working with people all day long. You're working around people. There are other stylists that you're going to be working with, and you're also, like I said, going to be having your own clients in your chair. Sometimes 2 or 3 at a time. Maybe you get to the point where you hire an assistant. Now you're juggling people. Now it's important to know that these people have different personalities. Some are more high energy, some are more low, and some require a little more attention. sometimes they can be a little more picky, a little more demanding about what they actually want. And this puts a lot of pressure on you as a hairstylist, because not only are you juggling these different personalities, but you're on a time limit, right? Your schedule is by the hour, maybe even by the 15-minute mark. And so you have to keep up with everything you're trying to do, pleasing these people throughout the day and staying on time. This can be stressful if you're not prepared in advance, but it can be an exciting job because every day is a new day. So there's always going to be pros and cons of this type of situation. And the third, and maybe not final, but the third reason for today that we're going to look at about things you should know before becoming a hairstylist is that it's great if you want to be your own boss. And why I say this is because it can turn into an independent career. And so even if you start to get your experience, you move from cosmetology school, which is usually where you're going to start. You can also do an apprenticeship type situation where you're just working under somebody else and taking the steps to get your license if your country or your state requires a license. When you're watching this video, things might be changing very soon. I'm in California. So here in California, they require 1,600 hours to put into cosmetology school. So you have the theory and you have the practical. So you're learning the steps to pass a state board exam. And then if you pass, then they give you the state license. And so what happens then is usually you want to go into some type of assistant program. Now, the reason why an assistant program is very important, in my opinion, it is not mandatory. You can choose not to do this, but it's kind of like being a doctor where you need to be an intern. You need to get your sort of time on the floor, because while you're in cosmetology school, they do teach you a lot, I guess, depending on where you go. But mostly it's geared toward passing the test. The main concerns in cosmetology school are sanitization and safety. These are a must. You must be clean, you must not spread disease or germs, and you must be very safe and keep your clients safe, because you are dealing with chemicals, and sometimes these chemicals can be very strong. So it's important that you understand the chemical makeup, what goes into the procedures that you're actually doing. And then a portion of the cosmetology school is, of course, learning the cutting, learning the coloring, learning the hair designs, learning lots of different things when it comes to hair services. Now, the thing is, it's not going to make you the greatest hairstylist in the world. And depending on what level of education that you get, so for example, there's public school, private school, you're going to pay a lot more. For a school maybe like Vidal Sassoon, you're going to pay more, but you're going to get a more specialized attention, a more specialized formal education where they're really going to go into the detail of color and cut, which is a great idea, but it's not, again, mandatory. You can go and learn these things after you get your license and take multiple different classes from multiple different companies, and learn sort of as you go and build on your knowledge and skill set as you go. So it's definitely something that changes. It's part of the beauty industry, so everything's constantly evolving and changing. And you know, there's different trends and different things that are popular, whether it be hair color or haircuts, year to year. It's really changing all the time. So you always want to stay updated and really, you know, hone your skills and practice your skills and learn the new things that are coming out. But if you work your way into, say, for example, you're going to be building your own clientele after you do your assistant, your assistant time, which could be anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, or depending if the salon that you go to has an assistant program where they require you to be an assistant, and then they give you maybe your own chair to help you build your clientele after that, season is over. And then you might, say, work on commission for a salon. So this is where you're an actual employee of the salon, and they're going to pay you a percentage of your services. Sometimes they will provide the color and the styling products for you. Sometimes you have to provide them for yourself. So this can really take a lot of money out of your pocket, but what it can do is to help build your confidence, help build your clientele, get more people on your books. And you can really just engage in those relationships, get to know those people, help them to know you, like you, trust you. And then when they become loyal clients, they will usually follow you wherever you go. And you know, there's different rules when it comes to leaving one salon and going to another that you have to be careful of, but you'll get to kind of know the culture in whatever salon that you go to, and then ultimately work as an independent stylist when you go and rent your space or your booth or your chair or your station or whatever you're calling it that day. And this is where you become an independent stylist. So you'll usually pay like a weekly rental, just one flat rental fee to the salon, and then you keep everything else. But that's when it comes to really actually running your own business, because you're providing your own supplies, your own hair color, your own tools, your own equipment, your own hair products. You know, you have to supply everything else. You just sort of get that chair and that mirror, and maybe they're going to provide a towel service or capes and towels or something like that. But then it's up to you to really keep track of your numbers and how much you're spending, because it can look like a lot of money is coming in, but when you go to do your numbers at the end of the week or the end of the month, you see how much your costs are, how much your expenses are. And then if you get a good accountant, you might have to go into a where you're paying quarterly taxes. You really have to keep track of your money, but this is an opportunity to also make a lot of money. Depending on the area that you're in, you can charge higher prices, you can factor in the cost of rent and figure things out. But ultimately, this is an ideal situation because you can usually make your own schedule so that nobody has to tell you what time to come in. You decide if you want to work 10 to 7 or 11 to 8 or 1 to 5, you know, and if you're a mother or if you just want a couple days a week, then you can be a part-time stylist, and this usually works really well for people that just want to work a few days a week, and you get to set your schedule and you don't have to ask anyone to go on vacation. Obviously, you're usually not going to be paid when you're not working, and those clients sort of pile up when you do get back from that vacation, but it's a great way to experience a little more freedom and be your own boss, but working in a bigger salon. And, you know, some people have a dream to own their salon, and maybe on the way they go and rent their own salon suite, and now you have your own space, your own room that you can decorate, and that's even more independence. And if it's your goal to own your own salon, then you can sort of learn along the way what it takes, because that's a whole nother level when you're opening a salon and you're managing people and you're managing bigger books, bigger numbers, bigger expenses, and that is information for another video. And so in this video, I just really wanted to concentrate on those three main things. Again, love doing hair, love people, and a desire to be your own boss. That's really all it takes. And just again, I encourage you to do your research and talk to some hairstylists who have been there before. You can always glean the most wisdom and get the most clarity around your choices when you talk to people who have already been where you want to go, and they can sometimes leave a path for you to follow. And of course, you're going to make your own choices along the way, but it's a lot easier when you don't go in blindly, when you have a blueprint, when you have a map of your goals and what you want to achieve, when you can see a bigger picture. And basically, this is what I'd love to do with this channel. I want to talk all about salon marketing, hairstylists, social media marketing, and any questions that you might have, post in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what questions, what you might want to hear about, videos in the future, and I will see you on the next video.